Hereford in town, taking on Lubbock High. And knowing Abner's a Westerner grad, Lubbock High quickly goes to work. Zach Reyna gives it to Bo Davis. He'll find his way into the end zone. Name of the show, 7-0 Westerners. Then tied at 7, Hereford threatening. Caleb Ramirez dropping back, letting it fly. Kobe Goodlow hauling it in. Hereford goes up 14-7. Westerners down 20-7. Reyna going to fake the handoff, a little QB sneak. He'll pop right into the end zone. Down only 6 in the second. 2 minutes until halftime. Lubbock High wanting to get back in front. It's Bo Davis again, finding open field. And they go up 21-20. Down 14, less than 4 minutes to play. Juan Rodriguez's squad battling. Davis, the handoff from Reyna, finds a hole. He is gone. But in the end, Hereford wins it 42-35 over Lubbock High.